I wish you would step back from that ledge, my friend.
And I would understand.
I sent you that. Oh, I showed you the Yes Man
Why is this
clip,
guy
right?
calling me?
Oh, god damn it.
It's not important.
I just started recording. So, welcome back
Let's do it.
to the GSM topic of the week. And we want to... So, Mark, we have two choices here. We were talking about this where we will either edit this to make it look like we just talked about Battleborn coming after the hype train, or we can talk about cutting the cord. I like that we're actually kind of coming into a time where we have a lot of options with our main topic to talk about. Yeah, that's too small. So, while I edit you, why don't you go ahead and make a decision for us? That sounds dirty.
I mean, I'm kind of down to
edit you.
talk about cutting the cord. I mean, we've touched about it before in one of our pre-release videos, if that's what we're going to call our archived videos.
Our ruined videos is a good way
Actually,
to
I don't
refer
think
to
we
it.
even talked about this specifically as much as it was just about
We kind of talked about the cable companies
cable
at
companies in
length.
general, right? So I think this will be, you can be short and sweet. I think we have, similar ideas about cutting the cable. I think it's a video that we should do, considering, we are digital entertainment and interested in the future, and also are both. Are you a cable cutter officially?
I mean, I cut... well, my parents haven't cut, and they never
Sure.
will, but I cut back in college.
Right.
Like, my third year in college, I was just like, I don't need this.
Yeah, exactly.
And I didn't. I managed a lot of my time well, and, school occupied me otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
Here, living the past 3 years, it's been a bit harder because I have...
You're under your parents' roof, and it's all available to you, so that's completely
Well,
understandable.
Well, that and, I didn't have things to do. So, like, when I was managing my first site and making my first site, yeah, I had a ton to do. But then coming out of that, as I've mentioned, there was this depression where it was just like I had to learn to be happy with the things around me. And now I am. And it's awesome. And because I don't have to spend as much. And I kind of wish, the people around me could see that too. But I was making that face at you, and it's this really complicated thing because yes, I love having the cable cut. Would I like it if there was more around me? I wouldn't mind it. I wouldn't mind having Hulu. I wouldn't mind having these things. But that was kind of the thing I wanted to bring up on this. Is like how's these things are kind of spreading out in the way they're spreading out. And do you want me to just go into that?
Yeah, just keep going. I mean, that was the idea of like just keeping this kind of organic. I think this is a conversation that we've had a number of times, and
well, sometimes I don't want to hit on a finalizing point when we've just
I
started.
think it's a finalizing point. I mean, you can have your thesis, and then we can just kind of crack it wide open and explain each part of it. So whatever's on your mind, go ahead and say it.
So, one of the things we did hit on, and it was a bit more minor back when we did this recording, was like the WWE is a good example of one of these services. Like pay into us and get all this WWE content. Fine, but then so let's say you look at you do this with baseball.
Yeah.
Where you pay into just baseball?
I have the MLB.TV or MLB at Bat package. I think it's like $100, and I can watch every game. Yeah, I saw something weird happen to my camera.
I saw that too.
It's like the light just kind of turned off.
We might want to check your processing sometime. You might have some background things that are taking too much processing.
It's closed. But anyways.
Don't worry about it. It's fine, Peter.
Fine.
Listen.
There's no long-term effects. It looks good. It's a solid recording. Anyways,
it's fine.
Before I go too deep into the walk-in, I'm usually better at the walk-in after like 2 or 3 beers, though. So,
I've hit on some good walking lately, but go ahead.
So, I pay it's like $100 for the year's worth of content, and it's content all over too. It's not just I have to be at home watching this on my Apple TV or watching this on my PlayStation. I can watch it on my phone while I'm at work. I can listen to the audio of games while I'm at work because I think if I actually watched a full baseball game, wouldn't bode well with the boss. But yeah, I pay into this service, and it's very...
what you doing? Watching a full baseball game.
Exactly.
I don't like that.
Fuck you, I'm out. Yeah, that's a part of the cable cutting, but also I kind of have to watch the Tigers games because there's no channels down here that I can watch it on.
Well,
so.
well, before you dive too deep into that, here's where my real concern comes up with this kind of cable cutting. And I like cutting the cable. I think we'll progress as a society about that. One thing I do want to touch on is how remotes, for smart TVs and these things that are kind of becoming antiquated, don't work and all of that. But
we'll have to retouch on that one too. Like what was like Future of TVs or something like that we did. That was a good one.
And that was a good one. And what I'm concerned about is these things basically just becoming fucking cable again with a pause button. And the reason for that is, okay, yeah, here, let us sell you MLB TV, but alongside that, we're going to give you WWE and Netflix and something else at a discount. And it's just like, you use like only 2 of those services, and the other 2 are completely wasted, but you have to buy into them because they're a fucking package. And that has kind of become the anti-consumerism that is TV.
Well, and I think what you're describing essentially is like what Sling TV is trying to do. I don't know much about Sling, but it's basically you're paying X amount of money for this giant package of channels that you may or may not use. I can safely say that I think the MLB package is phenomenal. It's much better than just
and MLB isn't doing that where they're like, oh, and you get WWE, but the concern for me is just that. It's just that we're going to start paying into these things that we don't want. I like having Amazon Prime. I like having Netflix. Only recently did our family add Amazon Prime, and I've had my Netflix subscription since college. And those are my choices. I don't, I don't want the, and I don't want this to get too deep into the cable companies because we'll talk about you in time when your time comes around again.
But I don't. It'll come around again.
I no longer, as somebody who has had the cord cut for nearly 6, 7, maybe 8 years at this point, I don't want them to be an arbiter of any of my entertainment whatsoever. Whether that's internet content or actually technically all of it's internet content these days. But I don't want them to be like, oh yeah, well through us, if you pay us for your services, you get like packages or, like if you pay... when we were talking about TV, if you pay Disney for, we were talking about
Disney,
sports.
ESPN, ABC,
ESPN.
Together.
If you want ESPN, you have to get the Disney Channel, and like all this crap that it's just like, and I don't think they're going to do that.
I think when we're talking about the actual. Like these cable providers,
Disney's not a cable provider, but they were just. I was trying to hit on that ESPN thing
underneath
again,
a bunch of stuff.
And NBC is, or the one that owns NBC
Comcast.
Comcast, yes.
Yeah. That's I think is still a little bit of ways away from becoming what we want to become. And what I think you and I both would like it to become is say, I want NBC, I want FX. I'll pay $2 a month for each one. I get my content over my Apple TV or my PlayStation. That's ideally what I would
never
love.
do.
It's never going to happen. Like I would love it. Like if I could get like AMC and FX like through my PlayStation.
And,
oh my god!
And Comcast is trying to get into the streaming market, and I hope
that like Comcast and Apple were trying to hash something out. It never happened. Thank God.
Yeah, because Apple was probably like, "Oh, you want to monitor everything people watch? Kill yourselves."
Exactly. But this kind of came about again because I had 2 ramble topics. One of which was that Amazon Prime did start their own month-to-month subscription service for Amazon Video, as opposed
which costs more than Amazon Prime.
Does it?
Yeah, it's $8 more a year in total.
But what you brought up the point is people could probably just cancel out of it and have it for their time to watch certain content, which
hop in fall, get out in spring.
Yeah, exactly. And then they're saving $24 a year, and I'm sure people
probably more.
Yeah, I'm sure people probably would say, "Oh my god, yeah." I know there are people out there that like pinch pennies like that. So they're basically going the route of Netflix and Hulu. Exactly. Yeah, Hulu. I was going somewhere with this. Oh yeah, the other thing
Sorry.
Kind of along the lines with WWE. Not actually, no, it's completely different. Now that I think about it, is a couple weeks ago the
the NFL
thing,
and
Twitter,
which is why I didn't bring them up, because Twitter is like that's actually pretty mind blowing.
It's cool. And I think it was last season, NFL has struck a deal with Yahoo about streaming games, like his Thursday Night Football games through only Yahoo, and it only did like 2 or 3 games, or maybe it was like I think the London games.
Seems like they were testing the water.
Exactly, and it did really well apparently, which caught me by surprise. And this year, actually, excuse me, I think 2017, so the next football season, Thursday night football games through the NFL will be broadcast on Twitter with anybody that has a Twitter handle, which I think is amazing. And the reason why I did
that is mind blowing, because they could have like struck such a fucking deal to make so much money, and
apparently there were other offers on the table for more money. I think Verizon was one of them, like offered like $5 million more, but they wanted Twitter because Twitter's like
open.
It's open, and it's now. Like if you want news, like you follow Twitter and follow certain feeds, you get it now. The NFL liked that idea, and
so there's been kind of this talk going on about how like Twitter's might go by the wayside, because it just the same thing kind of happened with MySpace. You kind of see it happening with Facebook, but Facebook's getting into different markets, which might keep Facebook alive. And now Twitter's doing the same thing. And there is this amazing thing that the NFL has done in doing this, in making this deal, even if it's only short term. They are speaking for their fans.
Oh, for sure.
Not their business. And for me especially, somebody who is very much against, large cable companies, that is a big middle finger. Because
definitely, just past the middleman.
Yeah, the majority of these cable companies, it's business, which it shouldn't be. It should be about service. And that is, man, I never thought I'd be proud of the NFL. I'm proud of the fucking NFL.
I mean, I would fucking love it if the NCAA did something like that. Be able to watch Ohio State football games through Twitter. Oh my God, dream come true.
If I had if I had some kind of like spy microphone or camera in like their offices, just to hear the phone calls, the angry phone calls that they would have, and the meetings about this, like you think about a meeting between like the commissioners and like the CFOs, the shareholder, the CFOs, all that of the NFL. Like you think of like this really sleazy event, where it's just like
the NFL's they bad rep lately too. So it's just like
you think about something really sleazy, but like if I was listening and heard the idea of just like, no, we're gonna do this for the fans, I would shit bricks, because that's nuts. Like, that's so cool.
Well, to kind of circumvent things and come back to
circumcise things.
Circumcise it. Yeah,
give them a reach around
about cutting the cable and how this directly affects it. You know, it's not just a subscription service to, you know, Netflix or Hulu or Amazon Video. You know,
it's free.
It's free. Like you have to have your Twitter account, and that's all it takes. And I'm sure there's gonna be advertisements, so you're gonna still get revenue.
And there is something we should dig out of that. Mm-hmm. Perhaps there will eventually be a Twitter Premium where it's not free. But even still, to make the moves, that's such a huge... Like, this isn't like, you know, we're Twitter and we're making shows now. No, it's like we're going to have, like, one of the most watched sports in the world.
And it's, like, just the idea, like, such a huge content provider, that being the NFL, is doing something to just put it on the internet as opposed to a network channel. So it's like, you're getting these... I think that's going to really kind of...
And you know what? Well, it's going to push ESPN and you know, like other forms of content to be like, you should be more like us, and if you want to be a part of us, you should be more like us, because you know the fans want you, but you're going about this all wrong. And I don't want to say that subscriptions are wrong, because I think it's a good path.
Oh yeah,
but the question isn't. if
Well,
ESPN should have a subscription
too. Like the NFL is $1 billion industry. It's like they're still going to make revenue off advertisements via Twitter. Absolutely, they're going to make money off of it.
They're still going to make boatloads of money, and it's just like that. I want to sit here and be like, oh man, subscriptions are awesome, but like what they're doing, if they commit to this, and there's nothing to say they're committing to this. As you said, with Yahoo, it was what, 2 or 3?
I think it might have been like 2 or 3 games.
Yeah.
And this is going to be like I want to say like 10 or 12 different Thursday night games that they will be broadcasting on Twitter. But then then there's like Monday Night Football. Like, what if they do 2 nights the following year? Then what if the MLB gets in on this? Like, we're going to do our entire playoffs on Twitter.
But what this is very internet. It's there is this huge medium that a lot of people want to reach, and what they're saying is no, like, for those who want to go do their own thing where they do their own thing, that's fine. Some people don't like Netflix, what Netflix has to offer. I've never been the biggest Hulu fan. I'm starting to lean towards them because they're starting to get more and more of the shows I'm interested in.
And more original content.
Yeah, and more original content too. So probably soon down the line, I might take, one and switch to the other for a bit and then come back and, just jump all over the place. But for something that millions want access to, they're saying we're restricting no one. And it could be possible that they go to Google.
Yeah, it's very possible.
And say
sign in with your Gmail account and watch
YouTube.
all the games.
No, YouTube.
Yeah.
You don't have to sign in with anything.
Well, they already do like there are live concerts you can attend on YouTube, which I think is kind of strange. Like, that's not really my definition of a concert.
That's the thing. That's where. So, like, if we get into VR here, and I don't want to go too deep down this rabbit hole, but that's where Facebook has an idea of an advantage, or potentially Google down the road. You put on this headset and you could actually technically be in the concert, in the crowd. There are people around the camera that records all this that allow people to actually be there. That'd be neat. And, you could even experience the concert from different perspectives. You could be up on the balcony,
it would be cool to see
the nosebleed, down in the pit, up on a balcony.
Not sure if, $30,000 camera in the pits.
I thought about that after I said it, but like the idea is there, like different angles, different experience, and so like there's something else there too. Like,
it's just a very
where does the NFL get into that?
Yeah, it's just a very proactive move.
Well, okay, so Facebook is doing their thing with their headset with Thank you. I couldn't think of the name.
They've also got like a 360 camera now that they unveiled at some event not too long ago. Which
for basically the headset, and so it's got to make you wonder. NFL's not going to Facebook. Did they go to Facebook at some point, and Facebook wanted too much for this, and now the NFL is trying to get in on the ground floor with somebody else?
I think Facebook was involved in it at some point. It was Facebook and, like I said, Verizon, I think. But they liked what Twitter stood for, which is, news now. It's not algorithms. It's real time. And,
true. Yeah, the Facebook algorithm is crap.
And, when you're watching sporting events, and I'm active on Twitter all the fucking time, and like if there's a very important event going on, hashtags trend on that, and if you're going to watch an NFL game, chances are there's going to be an NFL trend on Twitter, in which, that's why they like this. They're like, we like that. It's real time.
Yeah, hashtag plays. But what I want to point to is, is Twitter trying to do something with the headset too? Or, as you just said, freedom. Perhaps if you want to hook into, with the Oculus, the Vive, or even the PSVR to be at a game. Because you gotta know that the NFL wants to get in on that. Having, like a seat on the fucking field for users who want to, log in with a headset. You pay like $20 to log in from home, and suddenly you have like 20,000 people on the field.
That'd be cool.
Damn.
I don't think Twitter's going that route. I don't believe
No, I don't think so either, but I think, like, so that was my point that I was kind of lending towards, but now, like you say, it's kind of more of a freedom of expression, and sometimes that freedom of expression comes back to bite them in the ass, but I think this time...
I mean, I could almost see it where, like, if you want to, log into a certain game, or I'm not sure you log in or whatever, how that would work, maybe click on a hashtag, I don't know, New Orleans versus Baltimore, something like that, like NO versus MD, whatever.
I'm sure it would almost be an overhaul to the Twitter interface where it's like NFL games, and you click on the game, and there it is.
It almost went like underneath it. Like it'd probably have like a constant feed of people using that certain hashtag where you can watch the game and like see what everybody's saying about it. And if you follow sports writers, maybe that would, kind of be pinned to the top or something like that. I think it's just really interesting. And, just to completely go around the cable companies on this is, that makes me so warm and fuzzy inside.
Oh my god, yeah,
it's so warm and fuzzy.
It gives me all the feels. It's just like,
and I'm not a big NFL fan either, but I'm going to be watching more games. It's on Twitter than it is going to be, on network TV.
It's like when you're watching a show, or you again come back to like finishing that game or finishing that show, where it's just like, they actually did it, and it was such a hard road, and it's just like, the good guys actually fucking won.
I know,
or something close, like that is the feeling, because it again, like when we were having this conversation, it was more of a breakdown of like how smart TVs kind of suck and how cable companies suck, and I like this dynamic more, that it's just like, this might actually work. We might make it, Mark.
Yeah. and it's more that, like, again, not to knock on subscription services, but it's something more than that. It's something more than HBO Now or whatever Showtime or Cinemax has, and that's what's good.
HBO Go.
HBO.
I think you said Now.
HBO Go is if you have HBO, you can have HBO Go on your other devices. HBO Now is a standalone.
I heard still that they've still been working with a pricing model for HBO Go to be, for anyone.
If it drops down to like $9.99, I might get it. Some good content. Game of Thrones is tonight too, so.
I heard. I've expressed here that I just can't get into it. Teach their own.
Yeah.
I feel like. Man, there's so much to say on this.
I'm just wondering, what else can go into this? Like just broadcast on live feeds on Twitter.
I can't help but I can't help but feel if the NFL pulls this off, like the not NBA. What's yours?
MLB.
MLB. Wow, I suck.
MLB too.
I feel like they'll have to reconsider. I mean, it's probably not a bad model. But, like...
It's not. The issue is, though, NFL games, there's one game on a Thursday night. MLB, there's probably any given day at least a dozen games going on. So
that's true. Yeah. Even I know that American football has the advantage of there are only so many games a year. Like, it is so limited, and that's probably why it's presented as almost a better product often. Like hockey and NASCAR and all those, they have like so many games, and some people love that, but the NFL, like, it is an event in America because it's just like, there's only so much going on.
Fucking it's a holiday on its own.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't compare to the World Cup, but
no. That's only every 4 years. That's why that's huge too.
And yeah, that's a great point too. Only every 4 years, like.
I just had chills thinking about the World Cup being.
The next time the World Cup rolls around, I should come visit.
Okay.
For a weekend, not like. I don't know.
I love getting into soccer. Like, I need to get more into soccer. I played soccer.
It's so much easier when you're around someone else who wants to watch, and that's why. Like, the last one that rolled around, I was here home, and I was just like, God damn it, I want to watch, but I can't. And I think the next one's in 2018.
Ooh, I don't know.
Well, I'll have to look it up.
It's every 4 years, but
we're not big soccer fans. So
last season, so men's could be either this season or the season after.
Or if you want to call it European football, which is the proper terminology.
Us goddamn Americans. And
so we're obviously diverging a bit, and one thing I did want to come back to that we talked about on the death of TV is basically how these devices can't keep up with their... This is a terrible example of a remote, but it's the remote for one of my devices around my computer. And the remote is the perfect example of why, like, these services are going to belittle these TVs, and smart TVs just don't have the internals for this crap, and, like... accessing Twitter, like that's also going to be another thing. Like, you're going to be fine because you have an Apple TV, and I can hook up my computer to TV, but that there is an obstacle there. A lot of people don't want to watch on a small screen.
That's
true. They want to watch on their big screen, but that is also a part of the evolution of things. And I'm sure it's still going to be on TV. Let's be fair. It's not just going to be on
Right,
Twitter.
exactly. There's like X amount of games that are going to be exclusive on Twitter, X amount of games that aren't. So,
but these things are also limited by cable companies. Like, you only have so much channels unless you want to pay us like $500 million more dollars. And so that's also something we should definitely touch on how people are going to start cutting the cable. And I think our theory still holds from back when, that a lot of this is going to circle back to powerful boxes. Because you're only going to want to pay so much for a display. People won't understand the RAM and processing power that's going to be needed for having these devices connect to all kinds of different services, whether that be Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Netflix, Hulu, blah, 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 blah. Blah, blah, blah.
Blah, blah.
Exactly. And so I think a lot of it circles back, and you can even kind of see this happening with Xbox One and even what could be the future of PS4, which is another question I want to ask you about before we disconnect. I'll finish the recording before then. And I think, like... I circle back to our conversation about powerful boxes and choosing your peripheral. And it just seems like that is a part of the process. Is like I think we're going to start seeing people introduce, like, it started with like the Chrome Stick and the Roku and Amazon Fire, and I think these things are going to start to become more powerful and a bit more pricey, but they're going to be able to do so much. And some of them will be able to play games. And
well, yeah, I mean, Apple TV's kind of, they've taken that step forward, from the Apple TV second and third generation to the fourth. They brought their own operating system. They market third-party controllers for gaming. They've got, 2 models for it, an app store, blah, blah, blah.
And how much would you like to... so I think that's where part of... and I want to connect this with you before you move on. So I wouldn't be shocked if these things start to cross over, where these TV boxes start to try to become game consoles in Apple. I think that's part of the reason that a lot of people fear Apple, because Apple is connecting to your TV in powerful ways. And how would you feel about basically limiting the number of boxes you have in front of your TV? Instead of a cable box and a gaming box and a computer streaming box, you have only 2 or 1, depending on who you want to be as a user. I'll have multiple boxes either way.
I mean, I enjoy the minimalist approach on it. I'm kind of in the middle of trying to put everything on my Apple TV. The only thing that's really holding me back is this converter that's going to basically allow me to plug my antenna into it and then into my router, which then goes to my Apple TV, so I can get like my antenna channels on the Apple TV. I'm no longer using my PS3 anymore.
I still use it because it uses less power, and I unplugged it so it doesn't... I can put it on my capture card, so I can still watch what's on my PS3 while playing on my PS4 if I so choose.
Yeah. What was the question again? About
basically, so I'm coming back to the idea of more powerful boxes to run the applications we want, because I don't think smart TVs are going to be capable of doing it.
100%.
We come back to the argument of, how do you get every remote to be user-friendly? You don't.
Right.
There should be a TV remote, but then, fuck it.
Also a remote.
Yeah, and
I mean, I don't want to get too far off topic. Verizon, Jesus Christ, Vizio, I think it's like their P line of television sets are being shipped with small Android tablets, and basically streaming content from the tablet onto the TV, and the tablet is the remote.
And
Smart,
we when we talked about that, the issue I wanted to confront with, like, you hook up your phone, or like you get a touch remote. But the issue with that is then your older audience, who is a huge audience for consuming TV, and I think a lot of it just comes back to choosing your peripheral. The box comes with its own remote, but it's like you can hook up a keyboard and mouse, or like if you want to use a gaming controller, if that's your your go-to, use a gaming controller, use your phone, use again the keyboard and mouse, or even a small QWERTY keyboard, like that's not on your phone. And I think how we interface with what we consume our entertainment on is going to be very integral to also cutting this cable, because we're getting into basically the death of TV again, and there's just a lot to unpack.
Well, I see kind of where we're going though. Is like, let's say this NFL Twitter thing works out really well, and
it can't go on TV. And if you want to cut the cord and want to watch on your TV,
I mean, so let's say you do watch and you're on your computer watching it. Like, there are ways to get the content to go to your TV, whether it's, if you're an Apple ecosystem, you've got AirPlay, or if you just hook an HDMI cable or DVI, whatever you've got, there is a possibility. Sure, it's going to be a little cumbersome for more hookups than others, but I think the idea of
streaming to a box,
streaming to a box is fine. Shit.
Not even from your computer. Here's the thing, like, freeing up devices too is important. You don't just want to always, the game's on, which means I can't use my computer at all. I think again this circles back to partially the death of TV, but also partially cutting the cable, because you need something that can run these apps better than a lot of smart TVs are with their lack of processing and RAM. And
I have to look see if Apple TV does have a Twitter app. I have no idea.
Exactly, and that's also important to make sure these boxes can run things like that, because I tried to put Twitch on my parents' smart TV the one time when I was stuck upstairs after a surgery, and it just crashed. I tried to go through the browser, and it just it actually told me it was like insufficient RAM. Couldn't do anything. And
so basically, you had a new fireplace in your parents' bedroom.
No, it just didn't do anything, and that was the problem. It was not their bedroom; it was the family room.
Whatever.
Yeah. Stuck upstairs. I'm in a basement, and when I'm recovering from surgery, I'm typically just on the main floor because everything is easier on the main floor of the house. And yeah, I just feel like two things need to happen. You need a display.
Yes.
And the display should just be separate from everything that handles the processing.
Agreed.
And yeah, you can do that through your computer. That's what I'm going to do. But that's not for the everyman.
No.
I think a huge part of cutting cable for the everyman, getting all these services in one place, is going to be a powerful box, whether that is a gaming console or a powerful Roku or a powerful Chrome box.
That's exactly kind of what I'm trying to do here. It's like with the new Apple TV, with the apps, I've got Hulu, Netflix. There's no Amazon yet, but hopefully, since they have their own standalone.
They don't have Amazon?
No, there's some beef.
Oh, really?
Something about...
they had beef with Google. They have beef with Amazon.
Yeah. The beef is something along the lines of the way Amazon treats purchases. Apple doesn't like it. I don't know. But I think now that they have their own standalone app, we might see the Amazon Video app on Apple TV, hopefully. And like I said,
but you can stream your computer to the box. So
it's weird because I can get Amazon Video on my phone. Like, I've got the Amazon Video app on my phone, but it's not on tvOS. I don't understand it. But overall, like, what I'm trying to do is all of my TV watching nonsense is going to be through the Apple TV. My PS4 is going to be my Blu-ray player and gaming console. And if it comes down to it, where let's say Twitter does, they will be streaming these games. I will see if there's a Twitter app on my Apple TV, and I will download it and I will watch my TV NFL games that way. If not, well, I've got my computer and I'll AirPlay it to it.
I was AirPlaying.
Uh,
Yeah,
uh,
there's a lot to be said, and I think a lot of this lends to kind of the death of TV.
mhm.
And I think at the end of the day, we didn't really hit on anything that was just like, here's why you should cut the
Yeah,
cord.
we don't really have a point.
It,
It's just it's
it,
a
it's a conversation.
yeah, exactly.
But sometimes we hit on points like that, and I do feel a bit surprised by this, because I came into this expecting to be like, well, like, here's the reason I did it, and it was great, and here's the reason you did, and here are other reasons that people might do it. But I like that we have this conversation, and now we're having it in a completely different way, where it's just like, here's the state of things, and
Yeah.
you know what? It's awesome, and it's awesome that 4 months later. It's actually been 4 months since we started recording these.
Shit.
Yeah, and that we can look at 4 months later that things are actually improving. That's awesome.
Well, I think my kind of bottom line I'm getting out of this is that the reason, like, I don't have a cable service. Well, I mean, I've got Time Warner with my internet, but I don't pay for a cable box. It's to save money, and because I realize there's content that I don't need that they're going to offer me anyways. And if I want certain
You pay
content,
yeah.
there's ways around it, and whether that's going to be Hulu, Netflix, Amazon, MLB.TV, or if I want to watch a Thursday night NFL game, this just shows that there's a forward progress with getting this content from, I don't know, without using a cable provider.
Basically, like, the amount of money you spend is you consume so many more hours, for the amount you're spending. Like, there was even a recent article on that about how, like, Netflix users are just using the shit out of Netflix, and they're paying so much less. Whereas, like, cable, like, here's it's just like you're paying a lot more, even though, like, there's still a lot of hours being consumed. But it's just like it's. There isn't any grand point. It's just we had a conversation, and now we're like, oh shit, we might have wanted to make a point. Oh god, yeah.
It's not to say either that cable companies don't have content. If you're gonna pay to have 200 channels, you're gonna have a lot of fucking content. Not to mention all these providers have, video on demand. But I think it comes around to how much of that do you use? Are you going to be watching 5 different C-SPANs and 20 different Spanish channels? No, you're probably going to end up just watching your basic local channels and maybe 3 other, channels. That's about it.
And part of it has really been taking control over your life, where it's just like you are not beholden to commercial breaks. You are beholden to whenever the fuck you want to get up and do whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
Hitting that pause button, man, like when it was kind of like I was kind of like, I don't know if I should get rid of cable. It's like I just kind of need it, and then those first months at OSU, I was just like, this is awesome. I mean, like, there were times where it was just like, I don't know if I have enough to watch, but then it was just like, I'm fine.
Yeah.
Like, just hit that pause button, or, like, keep playing without commercials and go to the bathroom and keep listening. And now there's just even more than back in, what was that, 2008? Yeah, 2008 when
10.
Yeah, when I got to OSU, I hadn't met you yet, but it just now, even now, there's so much more content, like on Twitch, and YouTube has so much more content, and Netflix didn't even have that much back then. And
They're still only shipping DVDs then.
And yeah, it's been good. That's really what it comes down to. It was a wonderful decision that changed that changed my life. Like
It changes your bank account too.
That's weird to fucking hear. That like, oh, I cut the cord and it changed my life. Like that sounds dramatic, but it's not, because it really has. I'm in more control. I'm not beholden to like, oh, the Voice is on at that time.
Yeah.
I can't go get a beer with you.
Yeah, that's true. I never thought about it.
I don't like the Voice.
Well,
Yeah.
it's a good example. It's like, if someone's
exactly.
if you want to watch a show that's on at 8 p.m. on a Friday night, you're like, I gotta watch that show. I mean, sure, you've got DVR, which you can probably watch it later, but then you have to always avoid spoilers, which is not always the easiest to do with internet these days.
I mean, like let's circle back to MLB. Like, think about if if people wouldn't spoil the Tigers game for you, and you didn't feel this need to watch it live. How much better would you feel if you were prepping a meal and you had the Tigers game on right next to you that just played like in the afternoon?
Oh yeah.
I just feel like I'm so over live content. Like, even StarCraft, like, they'll have like the finale of the season, and I'm just like, I'll catch it when I can hit pause.
Yeah. I mean, well, you can do that with MLB.TV. It's actually, there's a thing where you can, I don't have to watch live content. I can go back and watch the Tigers.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I can actually watch the Tigers game again now. There's even a feature where I can hide all the scores for like certain games.
Nice.
It's kind of nice. It's a great service.
Good. Yeah, because I wasn't sure if it was one of those where it was like, you're basically getting TV.
No, like like every game that's out of market. So what sucks is they were playing Cleveland this weekend, and I can't watch it because in Columbus we've got Cleveland channels. So it's like I had to go somewhere or find some sort of site to stream it on, which I did the past 2 days. But that actually, I think, falls back on the cable companies themselves, because they're like, ugh, MLB.TV can't stream this because our users already have this channel.
We need more money.
Exactly. So it's like, when I stream it, I don't feel bad at all about it, because I'm just, telling the cable company to fuck off. And it also has it has stats, like live stats for, pitch counts, batters, batting averages, box scores, all live stuff like that, which I think is pretty cool. So, if other sports do, like the NFL, like, that'd be fucking sweet to be able to pull up something. I think Xbox One did this with NFL a year or so ago, where you could pull up live stats. And if you're a sports fan, that's huge. And
especially for people who love to be in fantasy leagues.
Yeah, 100%. So I'm really curious to see what this Twitter NFL thing is going to do. And hopefully it'll catch hold with other people, and hopefully they profit from it and do it again and get us one step closer to avoiding the dreaded cable companies.
Yeah. So I'm going to wrap up on that.
Yeah, I think was my point with that little tirade.
Like that was really good. Yeah. And also just like, that's going to be the title. Cutting the cord changed my life. Maybe it didn't yours, but I'm just at least going to say that, cutting the cord changed Scott's life, if you don't want to be a part of that. But
it's made things simpler.
Better. I mean, just that pause button, just, you're more in control over your life. And
I'm not spending an extra $100 a month trying to get fucking AMC or something.
So, I've been Scott. That one's Mark. This is Great Scott Marcus here on Ramble-Entertainment. Just cutting the cord's awesome, and we're looking forward to kind of even checking in maybe a year from now and saying, like, here's even more progress that's been made with it, and awesome things like that. As I say each time, I don't love to say it, but like, subscribe, share, because we're small, and each one of those means a lot to us.
Put our Twitter handles up there again?
I haven't been with Reed because, so, like, here's what's happening. I'm dealing with the audio issues.
Yeah.
And then we're going to deal with things like processing. So we'll look at your computer and we'll look at, basically, we're going to make a better show. And then we're going to start, when we actually put ourselves out there and say, like, hey, we're here, we're doing this thing. That's when we'll really start hitting the Twitter thing. And, I'll get on Reed about, like, how's your Twitter? Like, let's take a look at it and get it, get some nice graphics up there for each of us and all that stuff. I've got the Twitter name reserved, and yeah, but we didn't do it last time, but obviously we didn't share the topic last time.
It's been about 2 weeks since we actually recorded, and
no, we recorded last week.
Yeah, but we didn't post it.
I posted the ramble.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Did you watch my episode?
I saw the Just Scott
Jay-
no Marcus.
Yes. And yeah, so we did that, but I mean, yeah, I guess we didn't post a topic. So
Oh well, shit happens.
anyway, so it's been good. Thank you for those of you out there who are being a part of this, and I want you to know we're going to do a better job.
Yes, and do good things.